Good morning, girls. As far as the research methodology problems are concerned, first we are supposed to know about the problems in sampling of attributes, which says calculation of standard error. So, what is meant by calculation of standard error? How can we calculate this particular standard error? Means, before we go for calculation of standard error, let me tell you how standard error can be calculated. Here in the problem number 1 in your textbook, it was given that a coin was tossed for 400 times and head turned up for 215 times. Actually, a coin will have two sides. One is head and second one is tail. And it was given that 215 times a particular person got head. Now, he asked you to calculate the test of hypothesis, whether it is the coin, tossing a particular coin is unbiased. Because out of 400 times, if you toss a particular coin, minimum is a coin has two faces. I told you, one is head and the other one is tail. Now, what is the probability of heading a head or a tail? Means minimum 200 times. So, here in this particular problem, when you toss a coin for 400 times, minimum I am telling you, there will be a chance of getting a head or a tail of 200 times. But now in the problem, it was given that he has turned up a coin for 215 times. So, 215 times he got a particular type called head. So now he is asking whether the hypothesis is unbiased. Now for that we are supposed to calculate observed heads given in the problem is 215 times. This is already given in the problem for you. Means now what is the difference between the chance of getting a head and expected head? So actually the chance of getting a head when you toss a particular coin is 400 times if you toss, because two faces will be there for a coin. Minimum you are supposed to get for 200 times a head or a tail. But what is the per percentage? Here they got as per their observations, means expected is 200 times, they got head for 215 times. So the difference between the expected result and the result observed is 15 times they got extra. Now, before calculating the test of hypothesis, first of all, we are supposed to know about standard error. So, what is meant by standard error here means standard error of a given number of heads is equal to the formula is square root of NPQ. So, what is meant by this NPQ? This NPQ is nothing but N is equal to number of times the coin tossed. That is 400 into half of P. Half of P means probability of getting a head. Means probability of heading is N is equal to 400 times because the coin was tossed, and P is equal to probability of getting a face, that is half times minimum, because two faces are there, I told you already, and Q is equal to half times of the given observations. So, therefore, your standard error is equal to square root of 400 into 1 by 2 into 1 by 2. That gives you square root of 100 because it was cancelled for 100 times. That is equal to 100. It means 10. Now, you are supposed to find out before testing of hypothesis. You should know the difference between difference of observations expected than to get and the standard error. So, difference by standard error means 15 times. Where we got this 15? Expected to the difference between the observed result, that is 15 times. So, here your answer is 15 by 10. 10 is my standard error here in this particular problem. So, 1.5 times. So, what is this 1.5? The difference between the observed and expected number of heads is less than 1.96 standard error. 1.96 here, 1.96 of standard error means this particular observation 1.96 is the given parameter in the statistical values itself. So 1.96 of standard error means 5% of your level of confidence. So this is given 1.6 is a means below 1. See, your observation's answer is 1.5 and the standard means hypothesis parameter is 1.96. So, your observation's answer 1.15 which is well low compared to your standard error parameter. So your statistics says that it should be in between 1.96 and below. So here, yes, the answer is 1.5, which is more less than 1.96. So here you can say, hence your hypothesis is true, and we conclude by telling here in this problem that your hypothesis of tossing a coin and getting a head for 215 times is more unbiased. This must be your conclusion. So tossing a coin and getting a head for 215 times is unbiased. This is your comment you should write. This is how you are supposed to calculate the standard error and calculation of your statistical means variances and testing of hypothesis.